I do want to touch on what happened in 2017, I believe was in September, when you became the first major league player to kneel during the national anthem. You followed in the footsteps of Colin Kaepernick. I just wanted to know of what your experience was like back then. I know personally, you became an instant fan favorite to me. I mean, I followed your career even during Stockton. I met you years ago, but you stood 10 toes in, like you did not budge. And that was the most Oakland thing I've ever seen. And you represented and gave people hope to, stand for what you believe in. So I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on your experience during that time.
I mean, it was nothing short of hell, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking thousands of death threats. I mean, on every platform. I had people finding my family and threatening them to harm them. My sister at the time was coaching in Texas. She was coaching college basketball in Texas, and I had to put like a police detail on her for like a month or two, just because like people have found where she worked, and people telling me I'm in the locker room, looking at Twitter or whatever, and I got a message from a guy that says, "I hope you and your family die in a house fire," and I'm about to go like into a catcher's meeting, like like it's things like that. It's like my family, like I think I remember this specifically because it's my dad, but um, somebody threatened to find my dad, and like I respond. That was one of the few that I actually responded to. I was like, "Good luck. Do you want his address?" Because my dad was an ex-military. He's paranoid. Uh, I you name it, dog. Like it's like my dad probably got landmines in his yard. Like I have no idea. I was like, but if you want to go find him, you're more than welcome. Like he might come to you. Um,
You showed me something because we hung out after that night, and you instantly got
bro,
those death
it was
threats.
terrible.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Like the only thing that I wish was different is if I had the knowledge like a couple years later, then because then I would have realized like the magnitude of like what I was about to receive. I knew it
Yeah.
was going to be bad. Like I'm not an idiot. Like I grew
Right.
up in probably one of the most a very racist area, like especially growing up being biracial.
Mhm.
I got I tell people all the time I got shit from both races, both sides. Like I wasn't white enough, I wasn't black enough, like blah blah blah. And so we grew up around that. And so I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be so dark
Mhm.
and so heavy. And then on top of that, I didn't really have anybody around me to help me. Like I couldn't really talk to anybody. I didn't have any psychological help. I didn't have any. There was just I just had nobody to talk to about it, and
Yeah.
so it was difficult to be able to know those things and then still try to go to work. And when I'm getting called the N word, in Texas that following weekend, um, you know, I had teammates go to bat for me. I did, and I'm grateful for everybody that was on that team. Um, and that stuff. I mean, stuff hurts. Like, I mean, it's hurtful, very very hurtful. Because if you look around the stadium now, you got people on their phones, you got people sitting down, you got people ordering food and everything when the national anthem comes on. But it's like when people peacefully protest, whatever it may be, when people peacefully protest about it, that's the problem that you have.
Yeah.
Like we got there's hella people out here that probably can't even recite the national anthem.
Yeah.
Like there's also a lot of people there's a lot of people out there that also don't know the history of the national anthem.
Mhm.
They don't understand that there's a third verse in the national anthem that was
Mhm.
written by a white slave owner. That it was the third verse of it explicitly it explains the necessary spilling of slave blood to keep America what it is. Like it's like a whole group. It's like a whole montage of things, right? But it's like it's never been about the protest. It's been about who's protesting, and we all know this. Like if you think about these protests, if you think about it, when protests happen, it's more so about who's protesting, not what they're protesting about. Nobody ever says what they're protesting about is wrong. they start depicting that person individually or that group individually and try to make them out to be the villains, but they never address the reason of the protest. You know what I'm saying? They try to find all these negative things about this person instead of looking at the actual problem. And that's the issue. Like, that's the issue with all these things. And I mean, you got the raid of the Capitol, right? You got a whole lot of people disregarding it, right? Disregarding it. And then they keep bringing up the BLM protesters that were marching down the street with signs.
For real.
Like, it came out with a lot of those times where they were quote unquote vandalizing places. They were undercover cops doing it.
Yeah.
And they weren't brown cops either.
Yeah.
They were doing it to make them look bad, right? There's a reason why they blew up Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Because Black America was perfectly fine operating by themselves. They blew it up because at the end of the day, the one thing that our world and our country fears the most is Black and brown people actually working together.
Mm-hmm. Nothing more dangerous than an educated Black man or a brown man too. So
shit, fuck that. Yeah. Ain't nothing more dangerous than an educated Black woman.
That's true.
Oh.
That is the ultimate threat.
But period. And it's like, and it just goes back to like all of those things just go back to the way our society is, the way our country was founded, the way it's run. It's meant to be ran the way it is. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, all these people think like somebody, you know, the theories and stuff on some of these historical events, bro, I go down wormholes sometimes, and some of these people's takes, like, you know, the MLK assassination, like all these things. I'm like, bro, I said, that dude got killed by a Marine. Who employs the Marines? I'll wait. Like, the shot that was taken was from a Marine sniper, bro.
Who was the public enemy number one? On what list was he on? Being looked from FBI.
Exactly. I mean, and it
who
just
taped them?
Exactly. Them? Well, and it just goes back to that, right? Yeah. And like I said, it's about standing up. You know, my dad always taught me, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. But what I've always done is I've stood up for people, and I've definitely stood up for my own kind. And you know, and yes, I'm half and half. But I've always stood up for the person who can't do as much, the lesser than person, the one who can't speak up or doesn't have the ability to speak up or whatever. I've always been that person. But when it comes to people, when it comes to our race, when it comes to our culture, Black and brown people, I was like, we've been surrounded by, especially in the recent years, because now we have cell phones. It's publicly we've been destroyed. And like I said, like anytime you bring up any of these conversations, like people will be like, oh, you know, I saw a thing the other day. It said Black African Americans make up like 17% of the population in America, but they commit over 50% of the crimes. I'm like, well, that's not true. It's not even close to being true. I was like, but if, just for sake of argument, though, I was like, out of your quote unquote 50% of the crimes, we also lead the nation in exonerations too, because we were wrongfully committed to these crimes. And so it's like people pick and choose what they want to argue with, but they don't want to have the whole conversation. So the society and the media paint us as all these Black and brown people as these just worse people. But last time I checked, and I mean, this is real. Last time I checked, I ain't seen a Black or brown person shoot up a school. Yeah. Because I don't know about you, but I got my ass beat in my house. Like, so, but it's like when things like that happen, like Breonna Taylor, right? Like, think about this. Like, she's laying in bed. Okay, regardless of what her boyfriend has done, they're trying to justify the cops coming and shooting her in bed because of her boyfriend's actions. But if that would have happened any other way, any other type of person, You get what I'm saying? They would have been like, "Oh, this person's so innocent. Like, well, you can't judge her on her boyfriend's behavior." Blah blah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they always try to find the negatives. Like they always try to find the negatives and justify, but then at the same time, when we do stuff good, they try to always find the negatives.
Yeah.
Like and that's the society that we live in. That's the world we live in, right? And so it's just like back to what you were saying, like the history of Oakland and what it's meant for our people. These are things that are etched in history of the world, not just Oakland history. It's like I said, just like with the players. Like the players aren't just Oakland A's Hall of Famers, bro. They're legends in the game of baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah. And so that's the green and gold. That's the Oakland. That's the Oakland spirit. That's the camaraderie and the strength and the resilience and the fortitude that the city of Oakland has had and always had. They always possess. So being able to play for the A's in that type of environment, and I grew up with big history nut, like especially when it comes to Black and brown people. Dude, I was elated, bro. Like it was incredible. Like I loved it, and it was unfortunate that I got cut short, but I don't have any regrets or any bad memories outside of occasional sewage at the stadium where that smell was strong as hell. I don't have any bad memories, man, because I as simple as our uniforms were and the people that were around me, dude, I loved every second of it.